of a British car brand, what comes to mind? Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Aston Martin, Morgan, Caterham, Ariel. See, everything you really think of as a British car company, they're all at the kind of top end, or the more exciting, more interesting end of the scale. We don't really do small British cars anymore, or do we? This is the MG3, and some say it's a British car, others say it isn't. Why is it a British car? Well, it's designed and engineered in the UK by about 300 employees of MG, but it's built in China. So British name, British engineering, British design, but just packaged and manufactured in China. So what do you think of it? Do you know what? I actually quite like it. Yellow paint, black roof, daytime LEDs. I think it looks pretty smart. The interior is slightly less successful, and there are definitely signs that it's been made on a bit of a budget. Like some of the plastic qualities in here, they're just not very good. I think what's quite telling is that when MG talk about the interior, they talk about space and practicality, but they don't talk about quality. So how does it drive? Well, you can only get one engine in the MG3. It's a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. Produces 105 brake horsepower and 101 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60 takes 10.4 seconds, and the top speed is 108 miles an hour. Because this is a naturally aspirated engine, you haven't got the torque and the boost basically that small capacity turbocharged engines have. So let's say Ford Fiesta, you can rev that, and at quite low revs the turbo wakes up and you're away. In this, you don't get that. Peak torque is at 4,750 RPM, peak power is at 6,000 RPM, so you've got to rev it to get anywhere. And also, whereas some small cars, you should get around 60 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle, or at least that's what the manufacturers say you'll get. In the MG3, you'll only get 48 miles to the gallon. The suspension is firm, but it's actually pretty comfortable, and there isn't as much roll as you might expect in such a narrow car either. And actually, it only weighs 1,125 kilos, so it feels quite light on its feet. The gearbox, it's a 5-speed manual, and it's the only gearbox you can get. The gear shift is actually okay, but the gear ratios are very, very long, so you've really got to work the gearbox and therefore the engine quite hard to get anywhere. Come on. 5,000 RPM, 6,000, 6.5 change, into third, 60 miles an hour. The steering, I think, is perhaps its strongest point because it's hydraulic rather than electric. A lot of steering systems on new, modern, small city cars, they have electric power steering systems, and that's just because it helps when it comes to economy. But this has got hydraulic, and actually it makes quite a big difference because you can actually feel what's happening at the road. Now, don't get me wrong, this car isn't perfect. Things like the gear ratios and the interior, they're not so great. But prices start at £8,399 and go all the way up to £9,999. That is not a lot of money at all. It really isn't very much money for a car of this size, for a car in this class. I expected to drive this car and be disappointed, but actually I've been pleasantly surprised.